Hey, it's me, Jupiter, and would you look at that, it's Halloween! And to celebrate, we're having ourselves a look at Kamen Rider Kiva, the spookiest toku show in existence. Sort of. So if this video doesn't come out in time for Halloween, then that's awkward. Happy 10th anniversary! So how do I feel about Kiva? It's good. I quite like it. I didn't think it was amazing, or that it was one of the greatest things ever, or anything like that, but yeah, I thought it was a perfectly average season of Kamen Rider. I kinda went into it expecting Kamen Rider Castlevania, and I sort of got that. So let's just get right into the review in a segment that I've named after myself, because this show is definitely doing something different with how its story is told. That being the fact that the show takes place within two separate time periods, one in the present day and one taking place in 1986. They were trying something different, and hey, that's commendable, but two time periods means we're getting two different stories, and as a result, the actual storytelling is kinda simple in nature. A more episodic approach was taken, and each episode tells two very simplistic stories. This certainly wasn't a bad approach to take, but some interesting things are done with it, such as the episode where Nago is taken back in time and changes the past, for example. I'd say overall, this idea was pulled off relatively well. That is, until they randomly decided it was a really good idea to stop putting in transitions between time periods, and then it just got really hard to tell what time it is. Yeah, if there's one thing this show certainly messes up big time in its second half, it's the goddamn editing. The first half of the show, the editing was passable, it was fine. But somewhere after the show's halfway point, the editing got even worse than the editing in my videos. It really is mostly just the fact that they decided it was a really good idea to drop the transitions. Now I just have no idea what the hell's going on and when. Good job, whoever the fuck edited this. Moving on from that, yeah, I'd actually say this show has too many characters. The two timelines means two entire separate casts of characters, and it just ends up being a big mess of underdeveloped and irrelevant characters, mixed in with a lot of genuinely good ones. I just really wish I had more to say, honestly. Now, don't get me wrong, I liked most of these characters, but honestly, for most of them, it just boiled down to, I like this character, I like their personality. Not really much else. Well, let's just start with the main character, Wataru Kurenai, played by Koji Sato. He's good. Really, he's good. He's not an amazing character, nor is he the most interesting, but he's okay. He's fine. He is a perfectly passable protagonist. That's some tasty alliteration. His entire deal is that he's a complete, utter, worthless bitch, but by the end he's supposed to have grown to be more confident and less of a bitch. And yeah, I'd say they pulled it off well enough. I kinda wish this resolve happened maybe a few episodes sooner, but whatever, he's decent. Next we have Keisuke Nago, played by Keisuke Kato. I actually liked him a lot. He was serious, stoic, determined type, and I quite enjoyed his character. Though it does kinda suck that he wasn't a part of the final fight, because he was probably my favorite character in this show. Yeah, he was good. I liked him a lot. Guys, do you see what I mean when I say I don't have much to talk about here? You know what, guys? Fuck it. Here's all the characters that I don't really have much to say about, other than I liked them. Here we go. Shizuka. She was fine, I liked her personality. Basha, he was alright. Daga, he was cool, I liked him. The cafe owner dude, I don't know his name, he was fine. Shima was actually really boring and borderline pointless. The Spider Fangire, I actually forgot existed before doing research for this video. Kengo! Oh, I actually do have a bit more to say about Kengo, let's get into that. Kengo, played by Kohei Kumai. In the beginning, I liked him quite a bit. He was a fun character, and I liked his personality a lot. He was a good addition to the cast since our main character was a timid little pussy, and the secondary writer was the more serious type. It was nice having a more goofy, energetic character. I start having some problems once this happens. Kengo went from a decently likable comic relief character to generic serious action man number 365. Look, it was cool to see Kengo be Ixa for a hot minute, but I would have much rather seen it be this Kengo and not this Kengo. How I would have fixed this character, which is basically just glorified fanfiction. I don't know, maybe don't take it so seriously. First of all, get to the point in the show where Kengo injures himself and can no longer play guitar or do anything he loves, and basically ends his friendship with Wataru because of some irrational hatred. This is where I'd start making some changes. First of all, don't make Kengo into whatever the hell this is. Keep him the way he is right here. Then, Kengo witnesses a fight between Ixa and a Fangire. During this fight, Nago loses. He's defeated and untransformed. Nago is being brutally beaten by this Fangire, and Kengo just watches, unable to help, reaffirming his thoughts that he's useless. Until he sees the Ixa knuckle lying on the ground. Kengo, not wanting to see Nago injured any further, rushes towards the Ixa knuckle and uses it to transform. He fights the Fangire and finishes it off in Rising Ixa. In this moment, Kengo realizes that just because he's unable to do what he loves anymore, that doesn't mean he has to be a useless person. This moment could also have some growth for Nago, as it could have him gain some new respect for a person that he once believed to be nothing more than a dumb kid. After that, he apologizes to Wataru and admits that ending their friendship wasn't necessary. And from then on, Kengo goes on to be an occasional user of Ixa, maybe transforming a few more times from then. I feel like this would be a stronger character arc for Kengo that wouldn't have to do this. But again, this is basically just glorified fanfiction, so feel free to tell me how shitty this idea is in the comments. I promise I won't get mad. I might get mad. I'm gonna get mad. Don't you dare criticize me. Now we're talking about Otoya Kurenai, played by Kohei Takeda. Holy Jesus, titty fucking Christ. Guys, I really don't want to be that guy. I wanted to like Otoya. I did. I really did. But I'm sorry. This guy's an ass. Yes, he has charisma. He has energy. He can occasionally be fun to watch. But in my mind, the bad outweighs the good here. Otoya is a womanizing jerk that apparently ruined the lives of multiple people for fucking decades to come. Only fought Jiro because he liked the same girl that he did and not because he fucking murdered people. And on top of that, he cheated on his girlfriend. Yeah, real stand-up guy there, guys. Really lovable guy right there. Now, watch this scene where this big blue man is fucking eating someone alive. Look at how goddamn casual Otoya is about this entire thing. How are you just gonna casually walk in on someone being murdered? Is Otoya a fucking sociopath or some shit? And then, for over 20 episodes, instead of telling anyone that Jiro is out here actually eating people's souls, he uses the word monster like it's a goddamn metaphor. Oh, okay. Good on you for telling the truth. Oh, you can just goddamn end yourself, you greasy little cunt. Advises the show with communication issues? Seriously, I do not get the love for Otoya. He kinda sucks. Hard. Alright, so I'm gonna be talking about Yuri and Megumi together, because my thoughts on the two of them kinda tie into each other. Both of them have similar character arcs about wanting to avenge their mothers. That's all fine and dandy, but you see the thing about that is Megumi doesn't really do much up until her big hero moment. She's just kind of a background character that sort of exists to be goofy and occasionally mention how she wants to be Ixa. It's hard to really feel anything when she actually does become Ixa because, well, she doesn't really give me much to go off of. She just kind of exists in the background. Of course, Yuri does end up doing this character arc much better than Megumi because she, well, actually does things throughout the show. She is a character and has things to do throughout the story. So yeah, when it comes to this, I definitely prefer Yuri over Megumi. Jiro is a bit of an interesting one. He's played by Kenji Matsuda, who previously played Kamen Rider Zanki. And I can't exactly pinpoint why, but I really like Jiro. There were some interesting things going on with his character. I quite liked what we had going early on, with him being this sort of anti-hero or anti-villain type character. He had sort of a rivalry going on with Otoya, and of course they did eventually settle their differences, and afterwards he didn't really do too much that was very memorable, to be honest. But I still thought he was cool. Again, I can't exactly put my finger on why, but I really liked Jiro. Plus, he's also really freaking sexy. I mean, just look at this. I mean, what? What? I didn't say that. I'm not. Let's just move on, please. Now on to the villains, and I must say, what the hell even are Fangires? They seriously never really explain what Fangires are or where they came from. They just kind of exist and are there. You know what? Now that I think about it, nothing in this show is ever really explained. What even is Kiva? What's the difference between him and Dark Kiva? Why are there multiple different Kivas? What's a Fwessel? Where did Fwessels come from? How can Ixa use Fwessels? What are any of the other races in this show? What's the Checkmate 4? How do you get to be part of the Checkmate 4? What is Saga? What is Kivat? What is Castle Duran? Why does Wataru have such a nice ass? I mean, what? It's pretty clear what they were trying to do with Maya. She was the one who hunted Fangires that fell in love with humans, and then she would end up falling in love with a human by developing feelings for Otoya. That's the thing, those feelings don't really develop at all. The way she acts towards Otoya stays the exact same for the entire show. Then comes episode 41, and yup, I guess all of her feelings are suddenly completely genuine. In fact, now that I think about it, why did she ever get herself involved with Otoya? There are certain lines she says here and there that implies that she's doing it to fuck with Yuri, but again, why? And as for Mio? Well, I just don't get what her deal is. Now, when she was first introduced, I actually liked her a lot. In fact, I'd go as far as to say that she was pretty freaking great. Her personality was endearing and relatable, and they were actually doing some pretty interesting things with her character. She was meant to be the queen of the Checkmate 4 and kill Fangires that fall in love with humans. But she tries to resist this fate. She refuses to kill Fangires, and even falls in love with someone who, at the time, she thought to be human. There was a really interesting struggle there of having to follow a fate that she didn't want and trying her hardest to stay away from that fate. She was shaping up to be a really good character, and oh, she's a villain now. Oh, okay, she's a villain now. She's evil. Well, that came straight the hell out of nowhere. Seriously, one minute this character is reluctant to accept her role as queen, and then for absolutely no reason she decides, hey, fuck it, this Checkmate 4 shit seems pretty cool. But even after she joins, she still has reservations about the whole thing? Okay, then why did you decide to fucking join them like that? This character flip-flops so much throughout the entire show that it just makes me scratch my head. One minute she never wants to kill a single Fangire, and the next minute she doesn't no problem. One minute she's really adamant that Wataru kills Taiga. Next minute she fucking dies protecting him. This show just could not make up its mind as to what they wanted this character to be. When she dies, I wasn't sad. Wasn't sure how I was supposed to feel, actually. Then again, how exactly am I supposed to feel about the death of a fucking drink mix anyway? But hey, Mio's played by Yuri Haga, who played Mari in Faiz. So that means I can totally reference that time she fingered a girl in that movie. Wait, Shizuka's actress was also in that movie. Oh god. Oh no, please, none of that. Oh god, I don't want this anymore. I don't want this anymore. I don't want this anymore. Rook, played by Tomohide Takahara, exists. Yeah. King, played by Shinya Nero, was really weird. He felt really forced into being the show's final boss. He shows up, doesn't really do a whole lot, Dark Kiva for a bit, and then he dies. And then he's resurrected, and dies again just as quickly as he comes back. I mean, come on, he's not even intimidating. He just looks like a male stripper that gives blowies on the down low. Out of all the villains in this show, besides one other one, which we'll talk about in a hot minute, Bishop, played by Mitsu Murata, was probably the most consistently written. In fact, while I was watching the show, I kind of thought that he was going to be the final boss. He just gave off this aura like he was planning something bigger, like he was scheming something behind everyone's back. And in the end, well, he sort of was. I mean, he was the main villain of the final arc, but he wasn't the final battle of the show. That was King. It's kind of like what would happen years later with Kamen Rider Drive. Gold Drive was essentially the final boss of that show, but he didn't end up being the final fight we saw. I still consider Gold Drive to be the final boss of that show, so I guess I'll also consider Bishop the final boss here. But by that logic, does that technically mean that the secondary rider defeated the final boss? Oh god, this theory is already falling apart. But other than that, as I said before, Bishop has something that the other villains lack. Consistency. He doesn't flop back and forth like Mio, he has more development than Rook, he doesn't do weird shit like Maya, and he doesn't make me question his existence like King. Really, I felt like he should have been the real final boss of this show. Either that, or maybe make the show longer to give King some more screen time, or both. Both is cool. In fact, the entire ending is really weird. Like, the endgame feels like it ends before it really even begins. The show's finale feels like it should have been the first episode of an arc, not the very last episode of the entire show. The endgame just feels rushed. Certainly not the worst ending, but it could have been so much better if they played their cards right. But lastly, we have Taiga Nobori, Kamen Rider Saga, played by Shoma Yamamoto. Say it with me, everyone. I liked this character, but there isn't a lot to say. Nah, I'm actually kidding. Taiga's great. I really love the level-headed, calm, demanding, yet somewhat understanding persona he puts on, and tries to desperately keep up as the series goes on, only for him to explode by the end, break away from this personality, showing a more desperate, helpless side to him, eventually having his emotions burst out from within him as he becomes Kamen Rider Dark Kiva. It's a really good character arc. Kinda wish the ending wasn't so rushed so we could see this get a more proper resolution and, you know, see the arc reach its full potential, but I've spent enough time talking about the ending. Anyway, Taiga was a really good character, and probably my favorite next to Nago. Yeah, this is where the show really excels. Watching this show is worth it just so you can look at it. I mean, look at this thing. Look at this thing. Look at this thing. And this thing. Look at all these things! Let's just start with the suits, and holy Christ, Kiva's base form looks so freaking cool! The chest plate, the chains, the helmet, my god, the helmet! That is one of the goodest helmets I've ever seen. It's really the eyes that do it for me. Those big bat eyes really make this suit. Plus, I do like the Kiva belt as a transformation device. Kiva's alternate forms ain't too shabby either. They all got their own charms and cool stuff about them, including how Kiva's fighting style changes with the forms. I especially like Dogga form, mostly because I think Kiva's helmet looks really great in purple. J00piter. What? Oh god, Emperor form is the coolest! Gold and red is an amazing color scheme. I love how the wings from his rider kick end up on his chest in this form. The cape looks so cool, and the helmet, oh my god! I like Geeks' design. White, blue, and gold is a good color scheme, and I like how this look is more technological in comparison to Kiva. I'm a bit on the fence about the Ixa belt though. It looks fine enough, but it's the voice that gets me. I really can't tell if I like it or not. Rising Ixa, on the other hand, yeah, I also like it. It really gives the feel of a major power-up without straying too far from the design of the base form, which is pretty great. I like it. Kamen Rider Saga is a really nice suit. It combines the motifs of stained glass and a chest piece very well. He's meant to be a king, and the suit looks very regal to reflect that. Did I use the word regal right? Probably not. Whatever. Can't say I'm as big of a fan of the Sagark belt though. The design is a bit too plain, and I'm not really big on that high-pitched voice that it has. I could really gush about this show's style all day. For example, check out Kiva's bike, the Machine Kiva. It's not the most flashy or complicated bike out there, but man, it looks badass. It's very sleek and does not go overboard with its design. It's really cool. But even besides that, this show has stuff like Castle Duran, the arms monsters, or Kiva's finisher, that I can't really talk about without this video becoming a disorganized mess. But what I can talk about are the Fangires. Man, if these aren't some of the coolest monster designs ever. It's really the stained glass motif that makes these monsters great. There's so many intricate colors in these designs that really make them so great just to look at. I can't quite pick any favorites, but man, they all look cool. This show has some of the best music in Kamen Rider. The main thing connecting most of these songs being kick-ass rock music. This show has a few too many songs for me to be able to talk about them all, so if I don't talk about your favorite song, then fuck off, this video is long enough as it is! Break the Chain by, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, Tourbillon, is a pretty great opening that perfectly encapsulates the style of the show's music, as well as the motifs and aesthetics shown off in the show itself. It's got kick-ass guitar riffs, catchy melodies, as well as a violin solo. It's a great song and the perfect fit for Kiva. Now on to the show's first insert theme, Destiny's Play by Tetrafang. Backstory time! Tetrafang was a rock band formed specifically to perform on the soundtrack to Kamen Rider Kiva. The band consisted of Koji Sato, the actor who plays Wataru, doing lead vocals, Shuhei Naruse on keyboard, as well as various other musicians that change depending on the song. Back to the song, Destiny's Play. While the song is fairly catchy and fairly easy to sing along to, it's really the guitar work that makes the song for me. As I said earlier, Tetrafang sorta had a revolving door of musicians, and on this particular track, we have a guy named Yuji. That guitar riff hits. That solo kicks ass. And all of that is really what makes this song stand out. Next song, Individual System by Tetrafang. It's got a good mix of rock music and techno, along with some catchy lyrics and good guitar work. That's about all I have to say though. Next we have our final form theme, Supernova by Tetrafang. This song is perfect. Everything about it just works. The instrumental, the vocals, the lyrics, everything about the song works amazingly together to create an intense, passionate song fit for a final form. It's honestly one of the best insert themes out there. Now on to Fight for Justice, Individual System Nago version. I love this song. It replaces the electronic elements of the original song with more symphonic elements, with strings, horns, and a bit of harp, but keeps the rock element present by including some heavy guitar riffs and rock beats. The lyrics give a bit more insight into Nago's character as well, and it's sung by his actor, Keisuke Kato. Yeah, it's not Tetrafang, who would have guessed? And I love when actors sing the insert themes. It's a very, and I can't believe I'm about to use this word unironically, epic song. And it's absolutely a highlight from the soundtrack. Lastly is Roots of the King by, you guessed it, Tetrafang. Quite possibly the edgiest song in all of Kamen Rider? Nah, I kid. There's some edge here, but it's good edge that really kicks ass and fits damn well with the character it's associated with. That being Kamen Rider Saga. I definitely recommend listening to it. Now, let's actually take a minute to talk about the show's background music. It's pretty incredible. It's more classically inspired, lots of violin and strings. It's some of the greatest and coolest sounding background music in all of Kamen Rider. Highlights include the theme for Kiva's bass form, and the theme for Kiva's Wake Up. Overall, I'd actually say that Kiva has one of my favorite soundtracks in Kamen Rider. Lots of amazing rock music, melodic violins, sweeping orchestras, and classical elements that come together nicely to make a great and memorable soundtrack. Give it a listen. Also, there's like a metric fuck ton of insert themes that never played in the show. Like, a lot. There's a lot. Look, here's some highlights. Check these out, and explore a little bit more if you're interested. Overall, I'd say Kiva is a pretty good show. It's not amazing, but it's alright. It's certainly above average. There are people who love this show as well as people who hate it. I don't really understand either side. I think the show is okay. I'd say give it a try. Watch about 5 or so episodes, and if you don't like what you see, then it probably isn't for you. If you love what you see, then keep going. There's plenty more of what makes those episodes appealing. But for me, I'd say it was mostly an enjoyable experience, but I have no real strong feelings towards it overall. But really, some of these male characters are making me question my sexuality. Happy Halloween, everybody!